space on its own. So I didn't have to actually drive the entire space. I just was able to do a perimeter pass. Now we can make that as small as what we just did, perhaps, or we can, the idea would be we include a large amount of geography on a plan, right? Save that in, and then, you know, from that point forward, the starting point is right around this imaginary circle that's right here, and the machine politely beeped at me, indicating that it recognized where it was at, that was a start point for a plan. So when the operator pulls up to that start point, you know, they'll be able to hit play, remove the key, and it will go ahead and clean that space. So really a nice feature to be able to have the fill-in plan, you know, for the ease of programming, right? The other approach that we can do for intricate spaces, we recommend using what's called a copycat plan. So copycat is when we're recording exactly where we're driving. So as an example, in some spaces here, it gets much more intricate to get around pillars or things like that. We may want to physically drive that space while we're recording and save that plan so that we only had to save it one time. Here's Jason actually, he found his way in. So Jason Stearns is our director for the region, so he runs a multi-state region, and he joins us from St. Louis, actually, St. Louis, Missouri.
How you guys doing?
Good, how are you? Yeah. So we talk about the fill-in and the ease that is, and you just saw kind of that's what we're going to show right now. We talk about that copycat plan, right? So if you can imagine 1 million square feet, you have to physically drive and do it really well in copycat, because the machine is going to record any overlap that you made as an operator. It will also record any skips that you might have placed into the plan, right? It permanently records that. The reason I explain the difference, those are the 3 methods that our machine is able to use, is there's other autonomous solutions that are on the market. We've partnered with a company called Brain. They're a technology partner, and right now with that unit, we only have the capability to clean with that copycat mode. So you would have to physically do a really good job driving the entire space, but they don't have the feature of that fill-in. So we just feel like it's a really nice added benefit. So, you know, that's just the high-level overview of the 3 different methods. So I drew out a small plan. I'm to the start point. I'm just going to have to hit play, and we'll remove the key. The machine's going to give a little bit of an audible. On the dash or the display of the machine, it'll go into the scrub features that I saved, and I'm going to know that this plan is going to take about 5 minutes. It says right on the screen of the machine about how long it's going to take to complete that plan. Now the machine, when it cleans, it's actually not going to clean the outer pass first. It does that last. We call it kind of the victory lap. So you'll see maybe it's going to swerve in, a little bit.
So where is it going to come back to that point?
Yeah, it'll clean the space that I encircled, and then it will end where it started. In this case, with a
come here, right?
Yeah, it's going to clean over here. Yeah, ultimately.
Yeah. So it's not.
Yeah. No, it won't. The idea is when we introduce objects in, it will go around it.
So we got people in wheelchairs here.
Yes, definitely a concern. We deploy in hospitals, so it's a big, it's a big concern. We deploy into airports, which is a concern as well. So it's reading your bag in the plan right now.
Whoa.
It's finding a way around it. If it can find a way around.
Yeah, let's see if it can find a way around.
It's going to approach slowly.
Yeah, let's take it up. We'll make it reverse. Oh, that is so cool.
Oh. This is where autonomy has really started to shine. Because autonomy of the past, that would have created an issue. If this can't move, there's 2D mapping sensors down below. There's actually a 3D camera up top. So the machine needs to see physically in 3D, right? So it could see your bag that was on the floor. So it is using all of that. The acronym we use is SLAM. So if you're driving in your car, you use GPS, right?
Yeah.
Global Positioning System, right? So there's an acronym for everything. SLAM is simultaneously learning and mapping. So as it's going, it's learning its environment and constantly adjusting.
Thank you so much for the demonstration.
Yeah.
Good luck. That's
Yeah.
pretty
Nice.
nifty. Bye, guys.
Bye.
So now she moved her bag, and you're gonna see that the machine reading through. It's actually going right through that space. It recognized that it did not clean there. Remember, the main features the sweeping, the stand-on design, you notice we came into the 35th and forward. So we really like this package size. The limited factory facility is typically a 36-inch rollway. This machine is extremely maneuverable to get through that. The other thing is when you get into a tight hallway like this, you're talking that's 7 feet probably, right, between these pillars. Autonomously, this machine is turning around. Other machines that are on the market need at least a 10-foot wide hallway autonomously to turn around. So we can function, we were at a campus in by the lake, and I mean the hallways are pushing 5 feet at best, 5.5 feet. We can do a copycat plan, and we were able to autonomously clean in those hallways. Academic wings get really tight,
More new stuff, huh? That you'll break and not use.
Good to see you, Bill. Thank you.
Can I give your truck keys at him?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, he's in the way.
Don't steal it.
You're probably looking at
Smart ass in the crowd.
Oh, am I in the way? I think that's in the way. So now it's coming along that outer path. Now the machine will always stay 8 inches away. The question becomes, can I get right up tight? The safety of the machine is going to always want to keep at least 8 inches away from an object. So you are typically going to have to give it a that height. So you may still have to. That's the idea. We have plenty of other tasks, especially with there's like that. It gets freed up. The machine can still have about 5 hours. So we can give you So, as an operator, when the machine finishes, it has a cellular device on it that's transmitting. So, I would be able to get a text message, so Liberty Text Assist. So, if I'm an operator and I'm doing other things while the machine's cleaning, when it finishes, it'll give me a text message to indicate that it's done cleaning. So, we could have 5 or 10 people active to that unit at any time. I mean, it doesn't, there's an endless amount, so you can know when the machine started its plan, when it finished. If it were to encounter something, like she had put her bag here, and it couldn't figure its way around. There was some sort of an obstacle the machine got pinched by, right? It's just going to safely stop. The lights are going to turn red on the machine, kind of to indicate it's a little bit angry. And it'll send you a text message and say, hey, I'm stuck, This isn't the formal message, right? But it's indicating to you, I'm stopped, can you please come and assist me? So it may take human intervention, and that's the idea. I mean, autonomy with where we're at now, we're still filling the unit up at the sink. we're getting it to the start point, we're deploying that resource, and then we're able to go grab the burnisher or grab the dust mop or grab the detailed edger, do other tasks while we're working maybe in proximity to where the machine's at. And we can tend to it if it needs, tended to, right? One of the other features as well that's unique to the Liberty, if you put the machine on a 2-hour plan and it's an hour into the plan, you're in proximity to the machine and someone just spilled coffee over here. Well, you would really like to be able to go grab the machine and use it, right? To maybe clean up that emergency spill. With our unit, you can go up to the machine as it's moving and you are able to pause the machine and take your key and insert it. And you can take over control then as an operator, remove it from plan, and clean up that space. When you bring the machine back to that imaginary circle of where you pulled it from, it will politely beep at the operator. The operator can go ahead and hit play, and it will finish the plan. It won't have to start over. That's really important. It won't have to start over. So it's always available for you to do whatever you need to do manually to, keep up with that facility. So really nice feature. So if we look at the electronics and the exit, take over. She's got, good handling. So that was a little bit of an angry beep. That was, I was exiting the space. When you enter, it's polite. When you leave, it's the angry beep. But if we look at the unit a little closer, you've got a 15-gallon tank capacity. It's the dark gray tank around the outside. You've got a recovery tank that's easy to access and clean out. So if we prop the hood up, this is going to be a recovery tank. So this is the water we use to clean that space. With the Rev scrub deck, which is what this is equipped with, you're going to get about 2.5 hours out of a tank of water with that unit on plan. So we typically try to, that's a lot of cleaning, ultimately we try to create a plan that's about 2.5 hours so that it just ends well, on a tank of water. We've got an onboard charger, we've got an onboard detergent jug, very similar to what you're used to with the other advanced products.
What do you mean by onboard charger? Charges itself on to plug it in?
You do, yeah.
Just want to make clear.
I know, we're getting there.
I thought it would like dock itself.
I know it. We're still, we're not to that level of autonomy. We still are going to manually drive it. We're going to still plug it in it's just that the charger's on board. It does have sealed AGM batteries, so there's no maintenance, to that side of it. You're able to just run, thank you. You're able to just run continually and not have to do any maintenance. From a control standpoint, we might get worried. What does autonomy look like? Do I have to have, a computer engineer in here to figure this all out? And if you look close at the display, the controls to make it traverse are very similar to our stand-on chassis, where you've got to be on the safety mechanism in the back, you have a go pedal, you have forward and reverse, and you have a speed control that you can then set. All that's very similar. The buttons at the top are the same pictures that we have on all of our scrubbers. It's just a scrub function, heavy scrub, vacuum, water flow control, detergent, everything's there. That's all standard equipment. Really, the buttons that we've added are just the simplicity, the simple buttons here. So if we are familiar with a DVD player or a VCR, you've got play and pause. You have, what's that? Yeah, exactly. We're going to get there. Derek, I had to explain that part of it. No, I'm kidding. But there's a play and pause, there's a record, and there's a stop. So it's very simple, to deploy. It's easy for you all to draw plans. If you don't like the way the plan was in there, you can delete the plan. You can re-save a different plan. It's simple. This button up top is just explaining, a copycat or a fill-in, which type of plan you're wanting to save. And we really don't even. This just, I think, indicates if it's running autonomously. But it's really just a simple, approach to the touchpad. you know, to explain a little bit more, we have that tag is what we would call that. So it's almost like a QR code. So what that is, we would fix a tag, perhaps throughout the facility, we would have those. It just depends on the layout of the facility. So like if we go up to the second level, as an example, we would want a tag on the first level and we want a tag on the second level. That is just going to be, again, like a file folder. You think of the way a computer stores information, right? If on my home computer I want to save pictures for 2021, I'm going to create a file folder and I'm going to name it Pictures 2021, you know? Essentially that's what that's doing, right? It's creating that space that we can then record however many plans we would like to under that tag. We like to start the plans within about 75 feet of the tag. So
How many people do that?
that may dictate.
Don't call it sick.
They drive it out.
So, you know, that's a little bit of the background, you know, about it.
Does the speed only adjust when there's a rider on it? The program runs at the same speed always?
So, good question. So you can manually adjust when you're driving, but the safety of the machine, so the autonomy, dictates how fast it might go. So we sent this on to OSHA, right? I know there's different approaches that, you know, we're deploying in a workspace, right? So we sent the machine to OSHA. They've got a standard now for autonomous machines being ran in workplaces. And this machine, with the safety and everything that it has, it passes the OSHA standard. It's the only machine, you know, in the market today that passes that OSHA standard. So the reason I say that is, you're going to see the machine when it's close to intersections or tight spaces, it moves slowly. It has to be able to react. Similar though, what we should be doing when we're manually driving the machine, if we're buzzing along this wall and we're going at a good clip, that's probably not the safest approach. You know, if somebody comes out of the
If
door.
somebody walked out when it's to sense it and stop?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the
If
idea.
somebody jets out of that hallway, right?
Exactly.
When Bill walked
by back there, it's
Stop, yeah. So when it's in tight spaces, moving slow. When we get into the gymnasium though, it's beautiful. It's got, you know, it's further away from the halls, it picks up speed. So the autonomy dictates the speed that it travels.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're trying to push, you know, the envelope, you know, when it comes to productivity as well. I mean, we want to get square footage out of that plan. You know, how much, you know, are we going to push out of it? You know, and it does depend. I mean, if we're in a tight, intricate space, square footage per hour might come down a little bit when we get out into that gymnasium.
Will it tell you how many square feet you clean?
We have a track clean program that's also included with this, so you do get emails that would tell you from a management standpoint.
Somebody asked.
Yeah.
Hey, how many square feet that thing clean?
Yeah,
There you go.
you can have it, when it did it, how long it ran,
Okay.
the whole 9 yards can
Good.
be there. So it's information at your fingertips, yeah. Which is important too. I mean, actually, you know, it's proving what we did, right? We get into where situations with teachers maybe that are like, well, my trash hasn't been emptied in a week. You know, well, yes it was.
These are the types of reports you get. Where is it at?
We're going to
Somebody got there, like
We'll say more specific. Like file safe, like let's say one upstairs, one downstairs.
Yeah.
Would you go in there and like scan it?
Let's like I
and
said,
kind of
we
set it, like set it?
We'll have some ammo to
How
shoot
would you,
back.
like, a file saying that, okay,
Right.
this is the second floor,
This is a
scan it, and then go ahead and do your thing.
It is, so if we, it really doesn't know whether it's on the second floor, we don't have to name it or
Yeah,
anything like
sure,
that,
yeah.
but what happens is you're telling the autonomy to like remember things.
Yeah.
When you're not scanned into a tag, it's driving, but it's not remembering anything. So by scanning the tag, then when we're recording, it's watching its environment and remembering its environment at that point. So that every time you scan that tag is specific to that location. So the tags are numbered. So there's different numbers of the tag. So when you scan that tag, it's going to go, oh yeah, I know, I have seven plans. You know, I know what the environment looks like. And you didn't even have to tell it. It's just driving and it knows because it recognizes it's reading 110 feet in all directions all the time. So it remembers all the pillars that are up the way. It knows where the turn is going to be at. It has all that data saved into the you know, motherboard, so to speak.
8:30 in the morning,
So-
so in the middle of the floor, not moving. It's
Um,
not ideal.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
that's
well, I-
that's kind of the idea. Now,
We're always moving.
another really important feature,
Yeah, this place that
I kind of
So nobody up here.
laid it off to the side. So
business card?
Last year, obviously challenging year, we're in a pandemic still and we're not out of it. So we're looking at a lot of different industries and we're trying to think of how does consumer confidence come back? How do people come out of the pandemic and start to motivate again? Well, when the machine is out cleaning, it's really, a lot of people, it draws attention. If you see this in the airport when you're flying, you have a comfortable feeling that it's being cleaned and things are happening. So you could put sanitizing in progress or disinfecting in progress or cleaning in progress. Health, of the building is important to us type of an approach. With this, you're able to plug the light kit in. So what this is high intensity UV. So we can actually plug this into the back of the machine. We can run that high intensity UV very close to the floor. And essentially we can clean, which allows us the ability to disinfect essentially with UV technology. So of course there's, all the brochures and things like that. I mean, being cautious on, I guess, what we're saying or how we're saying it, there's a lot of testing that's done, with UV and how much UV you need to expose to COVID to actually kill it. So based on a lot of testing that's out there, we're confident that this can handle, essentially helping to disinfect that floor as well. So, again, plugging into the back. I will say the hard part of this, just learning experience kind of on our side of it, obviously I came in on a trailer and truck and we put thousands of miles on our vehicles. You're coming in and off a ramp and you're coming in and out of doorways. This light kit is extremely low to the ground. So it's perfectly fine when we're deployed in your facility, right? But we struggle a little bit from a demo standpoint, in some cases. So, I've got it here. I mean, that's how it plugs in, and that's something that's an added feature that you're able to purchase if you like and have the machine equipped with that. If that's something that you want to go with. UV is used. I mean, have you all deployed any type of UV?
It don't work.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, that's what we're told, it don't work.
Really?
Yeah, even the consultants said, don't waste your time.
Don't worry about it. Yeah. To each is their own. I mean, in some verticals, again, it can be more of a visual. When we get into healthcare, acute healthcare, they absolutely.
I mean, there are units that they use in hospitals that I saw that cost thousands and thousands of dollars. They throw it in the room and boom, in an hour it's done.
Exactly.
We ain't gonna do that here.
Yeah. Okay, and I share that again because it's something to think about.
If they wanted us to buy a wand and go over all the keyboards with it, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Not gonna
See,
happen.
and that's where there's so much human error that can be done, because if you're a foot away versus 6 inches away, you're going really fast versus you're taking your time. And the one thing with this, when you deploy, UV, is you're getting a consistent deployment of it. It's a consistent, as far as the speed of the machine, the proximity that it is to the surface, and such. So, but understand, again, it's something to talk about, because sometimes it is, like, it's the dean of the college. It's like, no, you know what? This is perception, and we want to instill,
You're right
perception
there.
to our staff and things that we're doing what we can do, so that they feel more safe, coming into this environment, and that goes a long ways, So, all right. So that was just a small, kind of a plan. I mean, I can do, a larger space with it. We can